But before starting today's class, I want to declare my today's class, my children. In this class, at first, my children, I'm trying to show you about the definition of non-finite verb. Non-finite verb. My children, secondly, I'm trying to show you about classification of non-finite verb. Classification of non-finite verb. And thirdly, my dear learners, I am trying to show you about some examples to clarify about various kinds of problems of non-finite verb with some examples. So, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. At first, I'm trying to clarify about definition of non-finite verb. If we want to define a non-finite verb, we can say that, my dear learners, a non-finite verb is a verb which can't express the meaning of a sentence and can't be changed according to subject, person, number, and okay, Magellan. At first I'm trying to define non-finite verb. Magellan, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand what are the things I want to make you understand. My dear learners, at first, in this class, at first I'm trying to show you about definition of non-finite verb. Definition of non-finite verb. Okay, my dear learners. Secondly, I'm trying to show you about the classification of non-finite verb. And finally, I'm trying to give some example about non-finite verb. Non-finite verb. So, my dear, let's take a look at the board and try to understand. If we want to define non-finite verb, we can say that, my dear learners, non-finite verb is a verb which can express the meaning of a sentence and can be changed according to subject, person, number, and chance. Number and chance. Okay, and you're not of the two. You have understood clearly. My dear learners, if you want to identify various kinds of non-finite verb, you have to mind that, my dear learners, a verb which can express the meaning of a sentence and can't be changed according to your subject, person, number, and tense. Such kinds of verb, of course, are non-finite verb. Are non-finite verb. How about that? You have understood clearly, my dear learners. Now, I'm trying to share about classification of non-finite verb. Non-finite verb. So, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. Non-finite verb. You'll have to your mind that, my dear learners, at your primary stage, non-finite verb is classified into three oils. Three oils. Number one, participle. Sorry. Number one, Sorry, number one in friendship. Number two, participle. And number three, gerund. Okay, my dear learners, as a primary strategy, we can classify a non-finite verb into three ways. Into three ways. Number one, infinitive. Infinitive, non-finite verb. Number two, participle, non-finite verb, and gerund, non-finite verb. My dear learners, again, participle is classified into three ways. Participle is classified into three ways. My dear learners, such as present participle, number two, past participle, and number three, perfect participle. Okay, my dear learners, hope that you have understood clearly. My dear learners, my dear learners, I want to refer again. I want to mention again, my dear learners, a non-finite verb is classified into three ways primarily, such as infinitive non-finite verb, participle in non-finite verb, and gerund non-finite verb. Again, participle non-finite verb is classified into theories such as present participle non-finite verb, past participle non-finite verb, and perfect participle non-finite verb. Okay, my dear learners, of the you have understood clearly. My dear learners, at first I'm trying to show you about infinitive. Infinitive. What's infinitive? Okay, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. Infinitive. If we want to define an infinitive and infinite verb, we can say that, my dear learners, 2 plus v1. 2 plus v1, a form of a verb is called infinitive. Okay, my dear learners, if we wanted to define an infinitive in non-finite verb, we would have to say that, my dear learners, 2 plus v1, 2 plus v1 form of a verb. 2 plus v1 form of a verb is called an infinitive. And now I'm trying to make you understand so with some examples about this, my dear learners. We go to school to learn. We eat rice to live. Okay, learners, I have written two categories of example to make you understand about infinitive. My dear learners, take a look at the board. I'm trying to understand. First example, I have written, we go to school to learn. In this sentence, to learn, of course, an infinitive non-finite verb, and example number two, we eat rice to live. Of course, infinitive. Of course, infinitive. Okay, my dear learners, of the two, you have understood clearly. My dear learners, now I'm trying to show you about gerund. About gerund. We can say that, my dear learners, verb plus ing form form of a verb is called gerund. Gerund. Okay, my dear learners, when this form of verb works as like as noun. Okay, my dear learners, of the draw you have understood clearly. My dear learners, if we want to define the gerund, we can say that, my dear learners, verb plus ing, form of a verb is called gerund. When this form of a verb works as like a noun, as like as noun of the draw you have understood clearly. Now I'm trying to give some examples. So my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. Walking is my favorite hobby. Next, my dear learners, my favorite hobby is walking. My dear learners, of the three over today. My dear learners, I have written two examples in about to clarify about this about my dear learners. First example, I have written walking is my favorite hobby. Hobby. Look at the board and try to understand. In this sentence, walking is a Chiranch non-finite verb because in this sentence, verb plus ing form is working as like a noun because this word is used at the place of a subject. And you have to mind that, my dear learners, the place of a subject of it's a noun or a pronoun. Noun or a pronoun. Of the two, you have understood clearly. My dear learners, next example, my dear learners, my favorite hobby is walking. My favorite hobby is walking. In this sentence, my dear learners, verb plus ing form, that means walking is a gerund. Is a gerund because in this sentence, and this word is working as like it's a noun because it is used at the place of an object. At the place of an object, you have understood clearly. My dear learners, now I'm trying to about your participle. You'll have to mind that, my dear learners, participle is a form of a verb which works as like as an adjective in a sentence. Adjective in a sentence, and this participle and non-finite verb is classified into three ways, such as number one, present, present participle. We can say that, my dear learners, verb plus ing form of a verb is called present participle. When this form of verb works as like as an adjective. Okay, madam. Let's say if we want to define present participle one, we can say that, madam, as verb plus any form of verb is called present participle. When this form of verb works as like as an example and adjective. Sorry, an adjective. So, my dear learners, now I'm trying to give some example. So, my dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. We saw a smiling girl. We saw Rohim smiling. Okay, Madhura, that's to clarify about what is kind of the problem about present participle. I have written two examples in the board mentioned, and that's you can got the board and try to understand. So, first example I have written, we saw a smiling girl. In this sentence, smiling is present participle. Present participle because in this sentence, this word that means verb plus ing form smiling is working as like as an adjective, like an as adjective. So my dear learners, and this word smiling, of course, present participle. And next example, my dear learners, we saw Royal smiling. We saw Royal smiling. In this sentence, smiling is working as like as an adjective. In this sense, we can say that, my dear learners, this from these two categories of examples, verb plus ing form that means smiling, of course, and of course, present participle. Okay, my dear learners, of that you have understood clearly. So, my dear learners, now I'm trying to show you about past past participle form. Okay, my dear learners, we can say that, my dear learners, V3 form. V3 form of a verb is called past participle. First participle. First participle. Okay, my dear learners, when this form of verb works as like as adjective, I said an adjective. Of that you have understood clearly, my dear learners. If we want to define past participle, we can say that, my dear learners, with the form of a verb is called past participle, when this form of verbs works as like as an adjective, like as an adjective. Of the true, you have understood clearly, my dear learners. I'm trying to write some example about this. Okay, learners, to clarify about this categories of participle, I have written, for example, my dear learners. For this example, I have written, my dear learners, Rahim bought a broken chair. Rahim bought a broken chair. In this sentence, word broken, V3 form of verb of break. Break. Okay, my dear learners, and V3 form of verb, of course, break. And number two, we saw a broken blackboard. In this sentence, broken V3 formal verb so of break break verb broken form each are working as like as an object. In the sense that, my dear learners, V3 form in this two categories of sentence, broken word, of course, are past participle. First participle. Okay, my dear learners, now I'm trying to show you about perfect participle. Perfect participle. Perfect participle. If we want to define this category of participle, we can say that, my dear learners, having plus V3, having plus V3, having plus V3 form of a verb is called perfect participle. When this form of verb works as like as an adjective. My dear learners, now I'm trying to discuss about perfect participle. Perfect participle. If you want to define perfect participle, we can say that, my dear learners, having plus V3, having plus V3 form of verb is called perfect participle. When this form of verb so works as like as an adjective, like as an adjective of the jaw. You have understood it clearly. My dear learners, now I'm trying to give some example about this. My dear learners, take a look at the board and try to understand. Having kitchen, right, mother, orange, bitch. Next, number two, having chicken chair, I orange school. Okay, my dear learners, these two categories of example, from these two categories of example, my dear learners, try to understand or comprehend having plus VT. Having plus VT form of a verb, of course, called perfect participle. Perfect participle of the you have understood clearly. My dear learners, I don't want to learn in today's class, but I want to share some information with you, my dear learners. Of course, you know that, my dear learners, I'm a new teacher or new tutor in YouTube channels, and I'm trying to use English conversation at the time of my making those kinds of videos classes go. I'm having like this. So, my dear learners, if you notice any faults or mistakes in the midst of my video classes, please excuse me and pray through all my channels so that I can help you. I can cooperate you with my various kinds of video classes throughout my life. So, my dear learners, no much today. Come to see again with a new video class. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.